Good morning, down under Moonlight Mafia. Sorry that I did not play the intro this morning. I got a little bit behind. Lot of things going on here at Casa, uh, at FOB El Guapo de Jesus. I'm getting my the Casa was the old location, so but now this is the FOB. So welcome in, guys. Got some special news here, so a special guest you guys are going to be excited about. We're going to have a lot to talk about. Um, we have a lot to talk about with our upcoming cruise coming up. Uh, we've been building our lists of what we are going to shoot and what we are going to do while we're there in on the Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas. I think we got a lot of good things that you guys are going to really enjoy as they come up. So I'd like to welcome everyone that's here in the chat this morning. And I appreciate you guys coming in and waking up so early this morning. Of course, we have Sean and Alana, the Downunder cruisers, saying, "Good day. The ships are in at Station Pier in Melbourne." That is awesome. That is good news for the cruising industry, especially down under. The Cruise Nuts, welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Miss Crystal from Destinations Delight, good day and welcome in. Miss Najuma Brown, welcome in, welcome in. And Michael Ann Spoiled Mama, welcome in. Glad to see you guys here. And not to forget anyone here, we have a lot of awesome moderators that we could not do what we do if it were not for them. And I'd like to play this little special video that Chastity has developed for these guys because they deserve it. And we do greatly appreciate all our moderators. We appreciate all our supporters. A lot of our supporters are creators, and we would ask that you guys, if you are a creator, if you are a supporter, hashtag creator, hashtag supporter, throw that into the chat. That way you can be recognized, not just by us, but also by everyone that stops in, because we want to grow our community. We want to grow across channels. So everybody support each other, and we greatly appreciate that. Something that's been going on that you may or may not be aware of is every Wednesday morning, that's American, every Wednesday morning, 7 o'clock, John Bourbon of the Moonlight Mafia Studios has been coming on and delivering creator breaking news. And it's really cool. He goes out and he finds information about all these different creators. That there are some channels that feel like anyone who's creating content you're in competition with. It's not a competition, guys. We want you guys to see good content. But what we wanted to do was, you know what, we can help ourselves and help others at the same time. We can add a member to the Moonlight Mafia universe, and we did that in bringing in John Bourbon. And we can make it entertaining, but we can also spread the love and promote some other channels. So that's what we tried to do. And so far, it's been great. We've got a lot of good feedback, and I know a lot of folks are enjoying it, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. So if you haven't went over and checked out John Bourbon, do that. He's on our regular, just on the regular channel. He's in the Moonlight and Chill binge list, as well as recent uploads. So you can go back and check out the first 2 episodes and see some good creators there. So without further ado, I know everyone is wondering, everyone is just clamoring about trying to figure out who our special guest could be. And I bet no one would be able to guess who it is. Surprise, surprise. It is Sean, the Downunder Cruisers.
Thank you, Squire.
Howdy, howdy. Man, I'm getting on, mate.
you're getting there. I'm really impressed. But I must say, John Bourbon, whilst he is absolutely brilliant, I just have one small challenge. And
All
that
right.
is every Wednesday he starts just as I'm about to finish. So I
Uh,
always miss the beginning of the show.
yeah. Well, so maybe. So, do you have anybody that comes on after you down there that we're not tracking? So that's been a challenge for me. I don't know. I know that you guys don't utilize YouTube as much as we do here in the States. And it seems like maybe that's growing a little bit with folks like, the Sandvan and all that fluff and stuff. There's some folks down there and they're putting out good
Yep.
content. Um,
Um,
when you don't go at the top of the hour and you do a half hour, you're always concerned that you're in the middle of someone's
yeah.
life.
As far as I can see, all the people that come on in are generally Americans. So the
Mhm.
Americans will start their shows because it's Jimmy, the astute tourist, and I usually on a Wednesday swapping over, and then we go into SET, and then we go into CME,
Yeah.
and then John Bourbon's in the middle there. So I
So
mean,
maybe we push to generally you guys you wrapping up. I don't always catch your morning show. Um, I need to do better, but I don't always catch your morning show. Um,
mate,
so do you
you need
normally
that
finish
thing
up
called sleep.
right at the top of the hour, or are you usually about 10, 15 minutes over?
I'm just usually about, well, by the time I actually shut down the show and get everything packed away and sorted, it's hard work getting Jimmy on his flight home. Um, by the time I get done, it's usually around about 5:10 past, and then I've got to get into Johnny Bourbon because hey, I missed the news. I've just got to get into it.
So I tell you what. So obviously we'll probably have this coming week off for Johnny Bourbon because Moonlight Studios is going to be shut down while we're away. But
What, you don't keep them working?
oh, he's going to be working. He's going to be out on the beat collecting information,
Oh,
but we're not
that's
going to
good.
broadcast. So
That's good.
so on the return, maybe we should consider doing 7:30.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we'll do. We'll consider doing 7:30. That way we don't step on you guys, and you can get your fix of bourbon.
I need my fix of bourbon. I mean, Johnny Bourbon. I'll leave that other stuff for later on.
So we'll talk offline because I, I want to stay in kayfabe. I want to continue to be a worker on the
Okay.
Johnny Bourbon character because him and I are not the same.
No,
I mean,
I know.
yeah. All right, just taking a note here because I'm very forgetful. And as we talked about before the live, I have a lot going on in my life, friend.
I understand that, brother. Hey, there's Leonard Family Fun come on in as well.
Yeah, Miss Tanisha, how are you doing, ma'am? How are you doing? The keeper of all holidays, Miss Tanisha. She does a great job with that. I really enjoy knowing what the holiday is. Um, yeah, and we appreciate her. She's a great supporter. Um,
She's a
this
great
is something
supporter of many channels.
she is. She is um, almost as busy, if not as busy, as Miss Meg.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm shit taken back.
Well, I see her everywhere. I see Meg. I see Tanisha. She's right there. Yeah, she is a fantastic supporter of a ton of these guys, and she had some nice words to say to John Bourbon last night, and I appreciate that.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
yeah, I mean you know our heart, Sean, and I'm not here to beat my own drum at all, but we have a heart for people and a heart
Yep,
for being positive, and
absolutely.
and that carries over from more than just what we do with Helping Hands for Cruising, which I want to talk a little bit about while we're here. And
Sure.
but
And I actually want to go into that as well because I really want to thank you for what you started.
well, I appreciate that. I don't know. I mean, my my parents and my grandparents have all passed and gone. And sometimes I tell a joke or two, and I'll be like, well, I'm carrying my father with me today, or I'm carrying my mother with me today. And I think that rings true, right? I mean, I am if I were allowed to be, I could be a very selfish person. But because the man upstairs and the people who raised me, there's always that little whisper, hey, do this. Yeah, do this, do that. And I try to listen, not to bring things down and to get too sappy, but, with my military experience and the things that I've done through the military, which were on the grand scheme of things, anyone who serves in the military is doing a great service to their nation and to freedom lovers throughout the world. So let's not forget that. But at the micro level, for a guy who's toting a weapon and doing his job, he feels like instead of putting out something positive, he's putting out something negative, and that's something he has to deal with day to day, even after the fight is over, right?
Yeah.
So
the fight's never over.
No, it never turns off up here. Never turns off up here. So part of the way that you therapeutically deal with that is you continue to put positive into the world and try to get that positive back. And that's why I have the mind never turns off for me. And guys like Brother Troy and, other military members, Andrew from the Funnel Heads, there's a lot of us who are combat veterans. And it's not just, soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, our allied combat vets. We get a lot of, we're at the forefront of that, and we get a lot of attention. But let's not forget that we have first responders and we have medical professionals who deal with the same issues.
Correct.
And even some educators at this point are dealing with some of these issues because.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And may I say, and you are not bringing it down, because I think one of the things that people need to be made aware of, and yes, we can thank this pandemic very much for it, is bringing to the forefront mental health. And it's one of the things that we teach as part of our normal day-to-day course. Treat a casualty, you become one. And at the end of the day, if you are able to rise above it and get the help that you need, look, to me, a real man is one who can, A, cry because something hurts him, B, know when to say I need help, and C, get that help.
Amen.
And that to me is a real man.
Amen. Yeah, and it takes a village of understanding. It really does.
Yep.
Good morning, Crystal. Welcome in.
G'day, Crystal.
But yeah, I mean, and it also. So I was not getting a lot of the help that I needed, and talking about it helps. And I can't even talk about this stuff to Chastity and it's not that she's not willing to listen. It's that she has a hard time understanding.
Correct.
Some of the things that come out of this mouth sometimes, and I have to be very careful when I'm on these kind of things, because there's a darkness there. And there are things that I find hilarious that are sick to other people, and it's just
you just got to know a couple of people involved in law enforcement, especially those that are prison officers. Their humor is so dark. It's not funny.
It's just it's a coping mechanism, so but I think it's good that, and one of these days I'm gonna figure I have a ton of ideas and it's hard to get them all going, but I really want to get Troy on and some other combat vets. And the more we can talk about it, and the more that we can go, hey, it's okay to show some weakness.
Yep.
Because the more I talk about it, the better it makes it,
Yep. Oh, absolutely. People like Cruise Vet, people like Troy. Troy needs a vehicle like this, to be honest.
And if for one day that 22 a day goes down to 21 or
Yep.
20 or 19,
Yep. Yep.
it's all worth it.
Correct.
It's all worth it. It's
Correct.
a sad thing to go overseas, and I'll tell you the internal, what folks may or may not know, because we put on a great funny face and we do funny characters and we do all these things. There's an internal battle that goes on every day, and there's not a day that does not go by where there is a thought of doing harm to oneself when you've seen those kind of things, because you don't feel like you're worth the life that's been gifted to you.
I get that.
So the 22 veterans a day, when Danny talks about teenagers and a lot of the things that they're going through, your first responders, you name it, the list goes on and on. You never know what that one kind thing or that just talking to someone can do, and what can change their life. So keep that in mind. And if you see someone and you feel like they're bothered and you don't want to bother them further, maybe you need to bother them.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? They tell you to F off.
Correct.
Okay. That's fine.
Correct.
I'll F off.
Yeah.
Welcome in,
my question is,
Renee. Welcome in.
My question then is, how shall I F off, oh Lord?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I don't think that brought things down. I think that was.
I think it gives a very positive run to things, because it means that we're actually helping people. And you know what? The people in the chat, there are some people in the chat that are running with demons. And whilst they don't want to openly promote those demons to everybody, they are running them. And as a result, if we can help anybody, I don't mean to put aside the vets. The vets are really important to me. But if we can help anybody aside from the vets, why not?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, a life is a life.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why I teach CPR.
You're right. And I have been, I don't want to say privy to, because I haven't been a part of anyone taking their life as far as, witnessing that, or, but I have been associated with folks who have had family members, you name it. And it's always the same. We had no idea. That's the first thing, we didn't know there was anything going on. We didn't know what to ask. We would have never figured, normally people who are willing to say that they have issues, or are willing to say that they're stressed out, or they're this or they're that, those are cries for help. Correct. And they're not, they're not at death's door normally.
No.
It's the people who are not talking because they've already made their mind up on a course of action. Correct.
I mean, I'll give you an example. In a lot of cases during a training course, we'll talk about my usual statement is, treat a casualty, you become one. Yeah. And so mental health becomes the big thing. And I've had more than on one occasion a month where somebody has come to me and said, glad you brought that up. Looks like I need a bit of help because my partner committed suicide, or my this committed suicide, and that word comes out so often, and I go, I'm sorry to hear that, but I need to ask a question. Did they say why they were doing it? And it's all comes down to that one statement. I think I'm worthless.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, you're not. You're worth heaps to somebody.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and you have to find your self-worth.
Yep.
And if you feel worthless, if you truly feel worthless, give your life some sort of purpose. You have something that you can give to this world. Everyone does. Everyone does. So be kind,
Oh, absolutely.
Love cures all. And this is not a religious conversation. I could get in here and do some preaching, but I'm not going to preach. I'm just, I try to take and make it vanilla and not bring religion into it and just say, put positive into the world, you'll get positive back. The Christian Bible says, whithersoever a man sows, that shall he also reap.
Funny, it's in
And
the Jewish Bible too.
it's just it's karma. I mean,
Yep.
on the face of it, it's the teachings of karma, and that's in every religious scripture of every known organized religion known to man.
Correct.
And I think that speaks volumes, right? So
Correct.
put the positivity out there, get the positivity back,
Absolutely.
put good into the world. There's enough bad out there.
Correct. The world creates enough. We don't need to add to it.
Let me ask you how much it costs you to ask someone how their day's going. How much does that cost you?
Zip. Really zero. Yeah. Because it just means you go out there, you open your mouth, put your pride in your back pocket and do it.
How much does it cost when you're driving down the road to just go to an oncoming car?
Correct. Zip.
Nothing.
Yep.
And this is something I've studied, and it may seem silly and stupid, but every time I pass a police officer, fireman, whatever, as I'm driving down the road, I try to make sure that I throw my hand up, because there's enough, our police officers are so messed up. Well, some of them are, but it's a minority that's given the majority a bad name. So most of those guys and gals are trying to do the right thing and to be superior at their job.
My favorite statement is when I walk past a policeman, or we've got transit police that go on our train systems. My statement to them every time I walk past is, guys, have a great shift. Have a safe shift.
Yeah.
And they stop, they look at you, and they go, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
And then off they go.
It shows that you are considering more than just you put enough thought into it to think about they're in a work shift.
Correct.
They're ready to go home.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, those small things mean the world to folks. They really do. They really do.
Absolutely.
So, Fairy Dust, she says, appreciation to the military for protecting our freedom and remembering the unknown soldiers. Yes, that's for sure. There are, I can't remember the statistics, but, and this goes across a number of different countries to include our Aussie friends and our Kiwi friends who have fought alongside of us for decades, centuries.
Yep.
There are unidentified remains and unidentified missing in action folks to this day on foreign shores. And, we don't think about the unknown soldiers, but and we still have prisoners of war to this day in some countries.
Mm.
So always keep those guys in mind and pray for them and think about them. And Michael Lance Bulled Mama in 2012 in our city lost 9 youth in 9 months, and she knew 2 of them personally. Yeah, that's unfortunate. They are being our youth right now are being thrust into things that their minds are not capable of comprehending.
Correct.
And it's because of these things right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, things that you and I probably didn't have to deal with till we were 16, 17, 18 years old. They're being faced with at 10.
Hang on a minute. Let's bring something back here. 6 o'clock in the evening, Mum would put food on the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
Expect the family to be sitting down and having dinner together. Right?
Yeah.
And we'd be talking.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
Today, you get that electronic income reducer, you call them the TV.
Yeah.
Sitting down entertaining the kids.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm very proud of my oldest son, who's, obviously raising our grandkid now.
Yep.
Because that's how those familial things work.
Correct.
But they made a goal of theirs to reduce screen time with their baby, and it's made a world of good with him. It's pretty amazing to see the things that he does that other kids that age. I mean, it's very easy to throw on Blippi or the Wiggles, or you choose it, onto a screen, put it in front of them so they will be quiet and eat their meal and do their thing. I mean, and it's even easy, and it's very easy to justify it in your mind because, hey, I'm going to put something educational on here that he likes. And I'm going to be honest, there's nothing wrong with some screen time. That's okay. We gave our kids screen time.
Some.
Yeah, but of course we had DVD players and not smartphones that they could access the world because our children were born pre-smartphone. But I do sympathize and understand why parents do it. But they've made a concerted effort to reduce that screen time, and this kid, he loves playing and problem solving, and he's only 2, but he kisses his flashcards because he loves his flashcards and his books, and he doesn't have this crying for the screen that you see some of these kids, and it can still be done. It can still be done. That's the point there. So Michael Anspooled Mama, a friend of my son's, opened up to me that he had considered it. I started checking in with him daily. He just needed someone to listen to. Yeah, and I'd like to let you guys know too that that there are other people in our community that we do buddy checks on, and if you feel like someone who needs a buddy check, or you may be that person, there are a number of ways to get in touch with us.
Yep, sing out.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you don't only have to, folks. You don't only have to have an American reach out. There are some Americans that we Aussies reach out to occasionally.
Yeah. Brene, no Jesus, no peace. So no Jesus, no peace. That's not religion. That's a fact. Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head, and I make no bones about it. I'm a Christian, and Brother Sean, he's Jewish, and we both worship the same God. Now our path to heaven may be a little different. I can't help it that I'm right, but that's okay. No, I'm kidding, Sean. I take
it from where it comes.
I like to consider myself. We talk about ourselves as Christians, but I think about it a lot of times. And there's a sect of Christianity out there now that call themselves this, and I think it's more accurate. We're really Messianic Jews, because if we're Christians, we're really following the Jewish religion. We just believe that the Messiah has came, and you guys disagree with that fact. So that's fine. That's okay. We're all God's people, and God loves us all. I was in a chat. I'm going to try to get off of this, but I'm looking at the time here, and we've got plenty of time left. So I was in someone else's live this week, and in the chat, it became rather toxic. In the name of religion, it became toxic, and it was a very Pharisaic, religious attacking type of thing. So, Sean, during the time of Jesus, the Pharisees were, I don't know what the teachings are in the Jewish community as far as the Pharisees during that time, but at least for the Christian religion, they were very hateful, and they were using their religion as a weapon. They had weaponized their religion. It's part of the reason that Jesus was taken to the cross, right? So this chat was very pharisaical, if that's a word. I had to get out of it because I was getting ready to, I was beginning to be triggered, and I was beginning to get to a point where I thought I was going to say something that I could not pull back in, because there were some very nice people in there, but a mob mentality had began. And again, this goes back to that, put the positive out, get the positive back. You can have a relationship experience with your God and still have fun in this world.
Amen.
You can do it.
Yeah, you can.
You can. It's possible. I think Jesus probably had some of the most fun he was probably one of the most fun guys to be around. I mean,
now there's an interesting concept, right? Because when we talk about the creation, we talk about God created man in his image. So I'm looking at the average person out there. If we're all created in God's image, then seriously, God must have had the most amazing amount of thought processes going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's another. This chat has went places I had no idea it was going to go today, but it's something else to
I
think
have that
about too.
habit,
Is
Josh. I
yeah.
have that habit.
Um, so one of the things, there are abominable acts that people like to throw out as like, oh man, if you do this, blah blah blah. The bottom line is anything that goes against the creation of the Creator is an abomination.
Yep,
There are not specific acts.
correct.
And so I always look at that biblical verse and I go, okay, so there are layers to some of these things that our forefathers and for people to try and not, I don't want to genderify things, but that they put out that we've got to read between some lines here too. So you talk about being created in his image. That goes for everybody. That's not just the greatest, most awesome person. It also goes for your politician that you love to hate.
Well, you got to hate somebody. Come on, really, seriously.
Yeah, it goes for that beggar on the side of the road, and you know, keep that in mind. I mean, when you go and you mistreat someone, you're mistreating someone who was created in the image of the Creator. So,
Correct.
all right, I'll get off my soapbox, but yeah, try and put that positive out. Try and make someone's day a little better. It'll make a world of good, and that's not a religious thing. That's
Smile
a
in your face. Let them smile
human
too.
ethics thing.
Correct.
Yeah, just be nice, man. We could change this world if you would go out and be nice to one person every day. Make
Yep.
it a goal in your life to do one good deed every single day, and I guarantee you, if the entire population of this earth would do that, there would be a huge change and a huge shift.
Absolutely.
Then the next thing we need to happen, even though I'm trying to make money digitally now, if a solar flare would come and wipe these things out, we might get back on the right path. But anyway, but if we did that, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to Sean. So yeah, I appreciate that, Crystal. I appreciate that. And Crystal and I were kindred spirits. We're going through some of the same health issues. So I know how you feel sometimes. Welcome in, Chet and Robin. Good morning. And
Hey, folks, I love watching those two.
yeah, so we need to raid them when we get out of here. Everybody go and raid Sea Leg. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, go raid Sea Leg when we get out of here. Great show. Folks that are definitely putting some positive out there. Hey. So we will be sailing with I Love Cruising Royal in just a few days. And she is on the Symphony now. Lucky you. Lucky you. So yeah, we're going to be meeting up with her in the Bolero's bar and having a drink when we get on the ship. So yeah,
Awesome.
I'm pretty excited to meet her. Holy moly! Check this out. What a strange character just wandered in.
Danny, what are you doing up this time of the morning? Oh yeah, I forgot. You got to go to school.
Welcome in, mate.
Yep.
How was that?
You're getting there, man.
Yeah.
It's the way you're actually talking through your teeth that's doing it.
Yeah, I clenched my teeth right here, and it kind of helped.
See, and you even got the I accent when you're speaking.
So Stream Elements is a little off here because I forgot to update it before we got in here, but it is what it is. This is not off.
Correct.
So that's a good segue. Thank you, Stream Elements, for the segue.
Thank you.
So if you notice behind Sean, there is a QR code, and that is a direct link to Helping Hands for Cruising, and I'm going to let him talk all about that here in just a second. So 25-meter target is Kenny's getting ready to go on a cruise. Not a ton of money. A fair amount of money has been raised for him for his onboard credit and for his follow-on trip to Disney. Um, 50-meter target is we need to continue to donate to this great organization.
Thank you.
And the 75 to 100-meter target is James Cantonese is the next recipient, and he is going to need onboard credit as well.
Yes.
So my challenge to the people is that when you can, love Kenny. We need to continue to try and fill up his coffers. And, in the notes, when you donate to Helping Hands for Cruising, if you wish for that money to go to Kenny, make that note, Kenny's OBC. But Helping Hands for Cruising needs to continue to operate. So make those donations directly to HH4C. But then also let's begin to put a little money into James's coffers. So much like what we did for Kenny, same thing. James Cantonese onboard credit in the notes and start building his coffers as well. So
Absolutely.
Without further ado, Sean, far away, mate.
Mate, you're getting so much better. I'm really impressed with the accent. I've got to work on mine to get like yours. Well, thanks for the segue. To give you an indication, Kenny now is sitting with a little over 1,000 Aussie bucks.
Fantastic.
About 600, close to 700 odd dollars in US currency. So he's going to have the most amazing onboard credit. He does want to do a few excursions. We have got one excursion paid for him. Not sure which one it is at this particular point, but we'll divvy that up shortly. And all he needs to do is just enjoy the cruise. So to be honest with you, I'm actually taken right aback with the way people like yourself and others have taken the bull by the horns and just run with it. Because you guys are seeing our vision, and our vision is currently we've got Kenny going on the inaugural cruise, and there's going to be a bucket load of vlogging coming from that. And then we've got James and Cindy Cantonese being the recipients of the next cruise, which is March 12 to 19, I believe. The Fantastic Cruising group cruise that's going out of Tampa and doing the West Caribbean. So it's taking in Belize, Cozumel, and a few other places as well, which is going to be absolutely amazing. We've also got another group cruise going out of Southampton and doing the Mediterranean with a recipient on board there. At the moment, they haven't been fully approved, but we know that there is a recipient there for that group cruise. And we just want to keep this going. Our goal is 3 cruises a year at least, going out of the 3 different continents that we're associated with. So right now it's North America, next it's the UK, and of course Australia. So 2025 is a group cruise that we're going to be organizing. We're looking for a recipient for that one. We're looking for an itinerary for that one, but that group cruise is going to go out in the first week of January, and we're probably going to be doing something like the South Pacific or New Zealand or both or either or one or the other. So it's going to be absolutely an amazing time. And really, folks, what we're doing is we're giving people who would not ordinarily have the opportunity to do things like see the ocean or see the sea or be on the sea or even swim in it for that matter.
Yeah.
We're giving people who are, for one reason or another, whether they be disabled or whether they be the carer of somebody disabled who's never had the opportunity to step out, or even somebody who's down on their luck, no way at all of ever seeing the end of the day, the tunnel. We're giving those people an opportunity to have a vacation of a lifetime. And we know that most of those people will pay it forward one way or another.
Yeah, I'd like for you, if you think it's okay, talk a little bit about James and what you have shared with me and his giving spirit.
Oh, man. Cannot believe this guy. James has got a heart like you wouldn't believe. James is one of these guys that has had not an easy life, I would say. He's got a leg missing. His wife is his carer. James, I'm sure if he's in the chat there, he will be happy for me to mention this. But his life has had one knock after another. He's never actually been on a cruise, and he's never had the opportunities that you or I would have had. Here's a guy who wrote me a note and said, "Sean, I'm going out and I'm doing some charitable. Getting some chocolates and selling them for charity, and the money that I collect is going to Helping Hands." Wait a minute, you're a recipient, but you're going out there and you're collecting funds for the charity that's putting you on a cruise. I mean, seriously, what better recipient? His heart's in the right place.
Yeah,
he's paying it forward, and that's exactly what we want.
For sure. And a story of Kenny prior to maybe we knew. No, we did. We knew that he was going to be the recipient, the first recipient when we did the Wheel of Doom, the initial one.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate everyone's donations. But when we did the Helping Hands, not the Helping Hands, when we did the St. Jude Wheel of Doom Darathon, but Kenny was the big donator that day by a lot. Kenny donated $300 to group for St. Jude that day.
Yep.
And I told the story during our Wheel of Doom OBC Make It Rain on Kenny. I was like, this is faith in action, because he put that. And I'm going to tell you, Kenny can't afford to give $300, but it has came back to him threefold with this onboard credit thing. So it's just, again, faith in action. Put the positivity out, you'll get some positivity back, and it's proof.
Josh, can I ask you to do me a favor? The very last one, Fairy Dust. Can you put that up, please?
Yes.
Bernay, I want to say this. I know that you want to give a donation, and I was hoping that you would make it to the meetup for this group cruise coming up in. I have to check because I can't believe it, to be honest. 29 days. Can't believe it. I mean, 12 days before we get on a plane. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. I was hoping that you would actually make it to the meetup. And if you do, we will, and you're happy to give us the cash at that time, we will be happy to put it into both Kenny and put some aside for James as well. Happy to take that on board if you are willing to come to the meetup. If not, send it with somebody that's coming to the meetup, and we'd be happy to handle it on that basis. Right now, we've got a couple of issues with Helping Hands trying to get a bank account properly set up. So we're still using PayPal as our bank right now. There's a couple of things that we've got to do, a couple of legal things.
Yeah, I mean, and PayPal does take their little bit. It's actually, at least from what I've saw in the States, it's a little less if you let them know you're doing something for charity. But they do still take their part. But what I in their defense, what I'll say is they provide you with an infrastructure that you could not otherwise get together yourself.
Correct.
So it costs money to make money. But them providing the QR codes and the little stand up, like when we go out and do these things, we have, I'll bring it over. So this is our PayPal QR code.
Yep.
Which, to be completely honest, it goes directly into our account. Now, when we do things for fundraisers and we use that QR code, that's all our PayPal is used for. So it's easily segregated and we know what needs to go where. And like when we did the group for St. Jude, we wrote a $500 check to St. Jude out of our account, which was built through funds that were raised that way. So But you don't, that's what you're getting, and that's what you're paying for. And I know that it's like, well, shoot, I'm paying for something charity here, and PayPal's getting a cut of it. Yeah, but they have overhead too, so I'll defend them just a little bit. But yeah, it'll be great when you guys can stand on your own and you don't have to give a cut to PayPal for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're just in the situation right now where we're busy putting together some of the legals for Helping Hands to make it totally 100% legit. But at the end of the day, it's all going in the right place.
Good morning, Hope Bus.
That Benay. G'day, Hope Bus. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, she John Bourbon gave her a shout out. She hit 400. So
good on her. Yeah,
congratulations, Hope Bus. I believe it was 400. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. So, is there anything else? So I want to give you time to shamelessly promote your channel as well, sir. But Helping Hands for Cruising, we have taken it upon ourselves, and we will continue to do fundraisers for a number of other charities. But our priority now is going to be Helping Hands for Cruising when we do. So at a ratio of probably 2 to 1 to the other charities we will work toward, we're gonna do Helping Hands for Cruising things outside of the normal cruiseathon. So cruiseathon is challenging.
Oh boy, don't tell me about it.
Yeah, support that, guys, when it rolls around. I mean, that 24-hour effort is gargantuan. Just ask Kenny; he fell asleep during his part.
hey, that's the third time I've known that Kenny's actually slept.
Oh, it's funny, man. That's funny, but we've got some things that we plan on doing. The Wheel of Doom will be in play. I've been talking about this for a long time. Eventually somebody's going to call me on it, and I'm just going to have to go do it. But I'm trying to find an adequate tricycle, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask for donations per quarter mile and try to ride this tricycle. I think my goal is 5 miles. I'm going to see if I can do 5 miles. So
5 miles. Wow.
5 miles on a tricycle. I have a route picked out. I just need to find out. So somewhere between, there's some tricycles you can get, but they're not going to be, you're not going to have the same amount of comedic impact. So there's somewhere between one that can support my big ass and and one that's small enough to get that comedic impact going on, right? So if I use the normal little one, I can get on there and I can probably pedal that thing. But after a half mile of pedaling it, it's going to fall to pieces. So I don't have the expendable cash to go and buy a fleet of tricycles to do this thing.
Now all you need to do is get Gunnar Wade. Is that his name?
Yeah, Gunnar Wayne. Yeah. Yeah,
Gunnar Wayne, to get that Harley that he owns. The tricycle Harley.
Yeah. Troy and I talked too about a big wheel. Maybe a big wheel would work, but I have some health things that I've got to get under control too before I do it. But we want to do those things outside of your normal fundraising activities.
Mm-hmm.
So, we want to try to get this thing moving in a direction where you still need to do fundraisers, but you're not worried about funds. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah. And we'd appreciate that.
It'd be nice if you can make plans fiscally, fiscal year ahead of time instead of quarter to quarter or however you guys are managing it now. So that's where we want to get you guys to. But it is a great opportunity, and I think anyone who has traveled overseas or went on any of these kind of vacations, it can be a game changer for people's lives in a number of different ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like they can actually get out there and see how other people live, and they see how fortunate they are in terms of the way they live.
Yeah.
It just is an eye opener. And I honestly believe, even if we had a few carers that came on board, those carers, the benefit to them is, oh, thank God, I can just relax now.
Yeah,
My responsibility to put aside.
for
So
sure.
it's just our way of giving back to the community, because I mean, what Ilana and I, we're not wealthy by any means, but by the same token, we've just seen a way that we can have a great time and we can impact others. Why
Can I
not?
say this too? There's a lot of focus on the recipient, but you're giving to the people that are going to be there with the recipient as well.
Yep.
I mean, you think about that. The people that are sailing with Kenny, that are helping Kenny throughout the day, that
Yep.
maybe buy Kenny a cup of coffee that day, that the impact goes much further than just the person who's receiving the grant.
Absolutely. I understand that. I do. I fully understand that. But at the end of the day, it's the recipient that brings in the funds.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But as far as the impact that's being made,
Oh, I know.
yeah,
I know.
it's vast.
And I will give you a bit of a heads up when we come to our meetup in 29 days, but who's counting? We will be issuing out a couple of awards. One of those the award that we will be issuing out is called the Papa Mozo Award. Now, if anybody got to know a guy by the name of Alan Ellsworth, he was a pastor in a church, built the biggest church. He actually worked he was actually pastor of it was a black church, so a white guy in a black church. Interesting concept, but he built that church to being over 2,500 people.
Wow.
And and if you knew Alan, you would know, or Papa Mozo as he was affectionately known, he would give his last razu to anybody if they deserved it. And in order to honor his name, we've created the award called the Papa Mozo Award.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, he and his lovely wife, Shelley, were booked on our group cruise to come. And unfortunately, he hasn't made it. The Lord decided it was his time, and so took him away from us. But more importantly, there are 2 awards going to be issued, and the person who's going to issue those awards is going to be Mommy Mozo, his wife,
That is
Shelley.
awesome. That's
So
fantastic.
you need to be there to see this. It's going to be a rather emotional time.
Yeah, that's great, and that's really good. You guys are doing great work. You really are. And,
Thank you.
And I appreciate it. I know everyone appreciates it in this community.
Oh, thank
you guys have a great you guys have a great spirit, and I can only imagine, because our conversations digitally, not just on these lives, but when we call and talk through Facebook Messenger or whatever it is, you feel the positive vibes through the trons. I'm sure when we get face to face, it's going to be a Kenny-like experience. So
we're going to walk into each other's proximity. I mean, all of a sudden the spark goes. Guys got to be out of the way, because there's this electric spark going between. Stand in the middle, you might get infected.
Good morning, Blaine. Welcome in.
Hey, Blaine.
Hey, how we cruise in the house. Thank you guys for listening. I don't know if that's Brian or Julie, but welcome in.
I had a great chat with Brian.
Yeah, those are some good people right there. Good people.
He's an awesome guy. Yeah. Got a lot of time for him.
Yeah, we're gonna meet up. I'm gonna be in his AO probably every other week throughout the fall. So hopefully we're gonna be able to go grab a bite to eat and some coffee and spend some time in fellowship together. So good folks. The voice that could melt metal.
Oh yes.
Paul S. Fines.
But does he know anything about wrestling?
No, not much. Not much at all. All right. Yeah, I'm caught up. So, all right, mate, we've got 5 more minutes left. I didn't throw the accent on there, mate.
There was a couple of minutes where you brought that wrong accent in, but you're getting there. I'm impressed. I want to say that you are an extremely lucky man to have that lovely wife of yours.
She is. She's. I'll tell you, no one knows how great she is except for me. I mean,
Oh, we can see it.
yeah, but yeah, she's such a supporter, and through the years, I mean, 23 years of marriage in 4 days.
You are a very lucky man.
Yeah. Yeah. We said that we're going to tell our love story one day. It's much better and more tenderhearted than Gunnar Wayne and Pegasus.
Oh, thank
There's
goodness for that.
no couch involved, but yeah, we want to. It's we've been told that we need to sit down and put pen to paper with our story. So we're
Yep.
going to at least go through the beginnings of that. I'll save that for now, but yeah, 23 years of marriage, not all easy. But that's why you marry for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Correct.
But two kids who could not have had a lesser of a chance to get to where we're at right now in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we didn't have great loving families, but we were hand to mouth families. We worked and made the bills, and then ate what we could get from the grocery store, kind of thing. And it's really amazing to go back and look at the places that I've been blessed enough to be put in my life that have led to this point. And it's not like, I mean, as far as our family goes, I've been pretty successful, and it's not like we're rolling in the dough over here or anything, but from a family that struggled to just get kids through high school, much less college. And my mother passed away, unfortunately, before she could see me walk across the stage, because she was the first one in our family to get a college degree, and she started teaching as a special educator.
Wow.
I know, looking down from on high, her knowing that I'm working on my master's degree now is just, she's beaming up there. So,
Can I say something which I think you might not understand at this point, but I think that you are far wealthier than you ever imagined. And I'm not talking cash otherwise. I'm talking about in love and fellowship from people. I mean, I'm only looking at the chat. Sorry, it's on the other side. Yeah, I'm only looking at the chat. I can't get over the fact that different side of the road. I'm looking at the chat going up and down here, and I'm looking at the number of people that come in every time you put your face on that screen, and the people you impact one way or another. We've gone full circle with this discussion.
I certainly appreciate it, man. And I don't know, it's humbling, because it's not me. I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, I know.
We all are. I mean, we all are.
Put a weapon in your hand, and I know. But you don't have that weapon right now. I can see you're really a pussycat.
But I mean, at the heart of it, we're all just the very nature. We all have human nature, right?
Correct.
It's the people we surround ourselves with, and the people that have decided to surround us.
Correct.
That make that. It's not a. That's why it's always hard. It's hard for me when people say, "Hey, thank you for your service," and I'm like, I don't know how to react. I mean, I always, well, thank you, I appreciate that, but it's done so much for me.
I know, and it does, and it changes one's life. And I always ask the question of people: if you were to go and strip down butt naked and look at yourself in the mirror,
nobody wants that, mate.
No, but that's what people say about themselves, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm worthy of.
Yeah.
But I always look and I go, try and find one beautiful thing about you.
Yeah.
And if you can grow from there, you'll find that actually deep down inside, there is actually an awesome person there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you hit it to begin with. We were all made in his image.
Yep.
And you know, what do both the Torah and the Bible say? God is love.
Correct.
At the end of the day, I mean, and there is no more powerful weaponized device on the face of this planet than love.
Correct.
So, you know, again, love covers up all.
Absolutely.
I've been
I
to some
mean,
of the
I'll
most
be honest
awful
with
places
you. I
on the
even
face of this planet, and
I'll
just
be honest with you, Josh. I even love V. I mean, I'll even stoop to that level of loving V as well.
yeah, she's a beautiful person. She
She is.
definitely is.
I'm waiting
She's,
for the pinch. You know, the cheek pinch.
she's another one of those. She's another one of those people that just great positive energy, as well as Michael Ann, and um, I hope people can see. And you're the same way. You know, it's we could hitch ourselves to people who have tons of subscribers.
Yep.
And we are hitched to some people that do, but
Yep.
not because of that. It's because of those people that we're attracted to them for a different reason, and it's because of
Yep.
what's in here and what.
Absolutely.
So and that's why we've grown. And I just, you know, I'm amazed that we continue to grow the way we do. It's not like we have. I mean, we're at 600 subscribers, or getting close to being there, but and
We're
that's
at
not
5.
the. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You know, the 600 people that we have some sort of influence over, and the 500 that you have influence over, that's a total of 1,100, and it builds and builds
You're
throughout the
thinking
community.
exactly where I'm thinking, my
Yeah,
friend.
yeah,
We've got more than some of those that have a million subscribers, because
yeah.
at the end of the day, it's the group and what the group does to bring people into a positive light.
It is so amazing. I was talking to Kenny the other day. Had some concerns with him, and I was like, "Hey, man, I want to talk to you for a minute." Just, you know, I let him know. I said, "Man, when I say I love you, I'm not. That's not something that I do
Lightly.
It's yeah. It's not a. It's not lip
It's not
service.
just a word.
Yeah, I mean, people earn that out of me.
Correct.
And I've felt such warmth through YouTube. 2 years ago, if you would have told me you're going to have a YouTube channel and you're going to be, I'd be like, come on, man, that you serious? YouTube, really? Social media, come on. But wow, I mean, it's just again one of those things that you can see the creator's hand in.
Yep.
I can't. There's no other way for me to explain it, because
Yep.
I never had any desire to do any of this kind of stuff.
Nope.
And then Chastity one day said, when we were getting ready to go on our first cruise, she said, "What do you think about doing this YouTube thing?" I'm like, I don't know. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. And here we are. So I definitely never would have thought that one of my best friends currently would be someone from Australia that I've never met face to face in my life, and I'm proud to call you friend. So,
thank you. Likewise.
Let me give. So before I start crying and getting too sappy here, let me throw it over to you. I'm going to give you the screen and talk a little bit about Downunder Cruisers and what you have coming up.
So thanks for that. Downunder Cruisers, what can I say? We are Australia and New Zealand's gift to cruising down under. We had an exciting day today. We went down to Station Pier, and Station Pier is where all the cruise ships come on in to load and unload and so forth. The very first cruise ship to hit Melbourne came in this morning. It is the Coral Princess. And we had an opportunity to talk to some of the passengers coming off the Coral Princess and getting on for further trips. Let me say, folks, Australia and New Zealand is some of the best place in the world to come and visit. And Downunder Cruises, our intention is that we want to sell our fantastic region to you folks. Get you to come down and have a look. Yes, we know that the US is the most awesome place in the world, but we know that Australia is better. So come on down and visit us. In terms of what we've got going, we have a weekly live stream that we run every Friday night for those of you on your side of the pond, and varies depending on whether it's daylight saving or not. But currently we're doing it at midday on a Saturday afternoon, and that is our brunch show. And then on the week, during the week on the Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Melbourne time. Currently, we run a joint venture with the Astute Tourist, Jimmy from the Astute Tourist. One week we host the stream. The next week, Jimmy hosts the stream. This week was our chance. Next week will be Jimmy's chance, and he will host both for the Downunder cruises and also for the Astute Tourist. But as we go into daylight saving, and you guys lose daylight saving, that time will change. So I'm assuming that 4 a.m. will be too early for Jimmy. So we will then continue to do our weekly session of the Downunder cruises at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, or it's our hump day session. So that's basically the Downunder cruises. We've got a huge cruise coming up. We leave Australia in 12 to 13 days on a big fat aeroplane that takes 19 hours to land in the US and get us off to Florida. And we will be doing as much vlogging as we possibly can. There will be the odd pop-up that will happen. And folks, come on board, enjoy the trip with us, and we shall catch you around the traps. You're muted, Josh. You got a mute on you. Your microphone's muted.
Man, I'm over here spitting some of the best stuff I've ever spit. And
I know.
Man, I lost it. I put you guys over. I was like a wrestling manager, and now here I am. I've ran out of the steam.
Are you better than Captain Billy?
Miles and miles better. So I hope everyone knows, like, so in the way I was always raised, and then in the military community, if you're not ribbing somebody, that means you probably don't like them. So I love Captain Billy J, and we shoot shots across the bow at each other constantly. That's because we love each other. Yeah. But yeah. But I am indubitably head and shoulders above the captain.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Your beard and mo is much better than his.
He's actually head and shoulders above me because he stands at like 6'4", but you know, I'm not that tall.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the bum fluff.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I just ooze with the 220 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal.
Like that.
Yeah. But, hey, so, we're coming to an end here. Let me see, before we head out, I really need to make a couple more mods for this morning time session, because I'm going to have to do this on my own, and that's okay. But y'all are just going to have to bear with me. So I want to make sure that we have everything we need to go over and raid Sea Leg. So
yep.
Let me drop their link in here so we can raid those guys in an hour. And then following their hour, or following their 30 minutes rather, we will have See Me Travels. Sea Leg raid at 08. All right, so that's in the chat. I'll go ahead and pin that as well, so all you beautiful people can go over. I'm going to replace the original pinned message. But yeah, let's go over there. Make sure that we give them a hashtag Moonlight Mafia raid. Obviously, if you're working or whatever and can't get there, that's everybody understands. But go on over and see Sea Leg. They have a great show. continue to give to Helping Hands for Cruising. There are a ton of not-for-profits out there that people are making profit off of. This is not one of those. This is a truly good organization with a heart for what they're doing. So really, really appreciate it. We will be offline for around the next 8 days. We'll have some pop-up lives but we're going on the Symphony of the Seas. We leave out tomorrow morning at 06, heading to Miami. We'll spend the day in Miami, and
Lovely.
we are tickled pink and excited. Can't wait. So,
and I'll be here watching one of those video shots of the ship actually sailing out. Make sure you give it a good wave. But you guys have the most awesome trip. Be safe.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for everyone that came in. I'm going to drop you on out of here, Sean. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, friend. And we love you. We care about you. Continue to put that good, positive energy out, my friend.
Take care, folks.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, great guy, great organization that he supports there with the Helping Hands for Cruising. Make sure you support it. Make a monthly goal if you can. And there are a number of ways to support that. Build your own fundraisers. If you don't have it in your budget to come out of your monthly budget or your quarterly budget, or however it is that you budget in your philanthropic giving, big word, ding, ding. I'm not going to try to say it again because I'm going to butcher it, but, go out and figure out a way to fundraise. It'll make you feel better, and it will help people by blessing up. But again, thank you guys so much for coming in here. I'm always blown away by the support that you guys give us. Because I'm just an old country boy from some humble beginnings, and Chastity's a country girl from some humble beginnings. And the fact that you people would give your time to come in here and spend it with us, it just blows us away. Hope everyone has a good week of the week that's remaining here. And the next week, since we won't be in constant contact with you guys, I hope you have a blessed and awesome week. Thank you guys so much. We love each and every one of you. Bless up, bless out. Moonlight Adventures out.